2. Nice. One runs out if I talk too much.
200 hours in there, so talk away.
200 hours. Nice. Good morning, everyone.
So can you maybe just talk a little bit about getting Jordan Hicks back and what that'll mean for you guys?
Yeah, really proud of Jordan, how he worked through everything he had to work through to get back. And Jordan's so experienced and such a good player and deals with adjustments and positioning really well so that we can use all of our guys to be in certain spots for what they do well, like Mahmoud or Devin Bush, who's gotten better, or Winston, Nate, who's ever in there with them. Jordan can really work with the next guys and with the safeties to make everything right.
With JOK, first of all, how's he doing? We haven't seen him yet. Is he around? Like, is he in good spirits?
He's good. We miss him. We love him.
With a guy like him that does so much for you, how do you go about trying to replace everything he does from a skill set?
Well, he's so special in everything that he does, both as a human and, of course, as a player. So you don't replace it, but what you do is our job as coaches is to, 1, help everybody get better, and then 2, is to get the 11 guys that are on the field to stop the offense. That's our job. So to answer the question, it's a little like we just said. There's some things that Jordan does really well, both in coverage or in rushing. Same with Mahmoud, same with Devin Bush. So we're going to use them in certain alignments, or if they happen to be blitzing or whatever we're doing within the scheme, we've become a little bit more interchangeable.
How difficult is a guy like Alvin Kamara for your group to deal with, especially if they kind of hunt out matchups and all the places they line him up and all that stuff?
Yeah, he's really special, and they do a good job of moving him around. And so we got to know where he is and where he is in the formation, and then that can depend on his width or where he motions, and we got to be ahead of the motion rules. They do a really good job with their motions. So what we got to do is be ahead of it, and it is a lot of times it's the linebacker and safeties working together. And like Coach Schwartz says, we're the nerve center of the defense. So we actually just went through a walkthrough doing that right now before I came in. We got to be really good and on top of it because, 1, they do a great job scheming him open, and then of course he can do anything. So we got to get as many of us near him as we can, as many times as we can.
Jason, as a position coach, when you see 2 guys like Mahmoud and Winston, the paths they took are very similar as undrafted guys, and you just see, what type of pride do you personally take to see guys ride that difficult path to becoming regular, contributors on it?
Yeah, I'm smiling because it's just what we said. Our job is to help everybody get better one play at a time. And every time I walk in here in this building, that's all I care about. Who's ever in the room, we're going to help them be the best they can be, because each one of us, all we would ever want in life is to be the best we can be and take advantage of opportunities. I'm really proud of those guys and the rest of the room. Devin, first year in the scheme, and just getting better, playing every position. Mahmoud, again, I don't know how many career starts, but it's not very many. And just his ability to go focus and go to the next play. Winston, his ability to lock in and really limit mistakes. He really doesn't make the same mistake. And if they can keep staying on that, they're going to have really productive careers, but more importantly, play each down that they're in to the best of their ability.
How have you seen Mahmoud get better in his year and a half here? First
thing Mahmoud did is the most important offseason of your career is the first one, because now am I strong enough? We talked a lot about this in the past with Jeremiah. Figuring out his playing weight and holding it helped him become a really good player. Mahmoud really took the offseason to heart. He worked, he grinded. Whatever the word is, he did it, right? And came back strong and determined. Our meeting, I ask questions really fast, really quickly, and we compete to get the answers right and the adjustments, and he just got better and better and better. It's hard to beat Mahmoud on the right answer right now. So his work ethic on and off the field, and then his ability to focus within the plays. I thought, it's 2 weeks ago now, I almost said last week. 2 weeks ago, he really improved in his emphasis for the week, which was the pass game feel, because he was going to be in more on third downs and red zones and things like that, and he really improved. So we give him one thing a week and keep him going. But it's first his work, second his focus, and then the experience of knowing where he is in the defense.
What do you think he does best on the field?
I think Mahmoud really likes contact and likes to get off of blocks, shed things, and run and hit. But he has a unique skill set, which is one of the reasons our organization really liked him, and we were lucky to have recruited him and kept him, is he can rush. He can really run. And it's where the NFL has gone. It's almost linebackers and safeties are becoming positionless. They're all going to rush. They're all going to cover. They're all going to shed. And so Mahmoud can really do those things, and he'll do more of those things as he continues to develop and be in those spots. So as we need him to go, like, so as you're helping the guys, you want to kind of keep them in their core position, but then lead them to the other spots they're going to be. So we're doing some things where he's still in his core, but there's a few other things we can start doing with him.
Along those lines, you mentioned that, like, putting him through some different quick questions and tests and kind of making him identify things. Like, how much did that help him when I believe he took over as the green dot for a couple games there? Just how much did that kind of help him kind of be that guy calling things out and sort of identifying?
Huge, because it's that quick reaction. Like, I got to look at the room, and then all of a sudden they have, let's say they got an extra lineman and a tight end, and that's where we're setting the front. I got to see the whole thing go right, then get everybody aligned and put myself in the right spot. So the quick reactions are the key. So we just got to mimic that as many times as we can. Like today, for example, I give them a review, and there's the draw and play, a run or a pass, and then there's the calls. And they have to teach it back to me tomorrow. And Mahmoud's have gone from, it's been really cool, and some of the guys in the past have just mastered it. Anthony, Sione, Devin's really good, but they have to be able to teach it back because we're professionals. We got to be able to teach what we do. Mahmoud is like, when he gets his answer, he doesn't even miss a word anymore. So, Mood, you better be right tomorrow, by the way. But that's all in the plan of that. And it's really cool to see the grasp when they really grow and they really understand it. And then every once in a while, I'll put something wrong on there and see if they catch it. Okay? And Mood's caught the last two. Or if I misspeak, they're all over me. And I like that. Like, there you go. Get it right? So, just how willing he's been to stay in the process to build himself into a player has been really impressive.
How have your guys handled the adversity of this 2-7 season?
We think about what we think about as being the best we can every play. And what's been interesting in our room is when, coaches always say it and is next man up. Our room's had different starters almost every game. So we're just going in and attacking every week. And that's it. And this week we talked a little bit about it. They get in a bunch of formations. They change groups. They use all their personnel. They got tight ends and running backs and people everywhere. And we got to be able to get everybody lined up, be that nerve center and line everybody up. So really, we're not even thinking about that. We're thinking about on play one, is number 7 in or not? Or, what are our rules right here? So we stay in that. I mean, whatever you want to call that, our little neighborhood, we're in there because we got to figure that out to be the best we can be this weekend.
Couple more.
How much does you mentioned number 7? Taysom Hill. How much does he dictate? In terms of what they, when he's in, how much does he sort of dictate what they're doing? How much can you get a read off of what they're going to do from him being in the?
Well, he's a Swiss Army knife. You can use him to do anything. So, and we know that too. He can be carrying it. He can be catching it. He can be whatever. He can be moving across formations. Like the first play of the game last week, it got called back, but they put him out wider, threw him a boot, and it got called back, but he scored. So he can kind of be everywhere. So what we got to do is use our rules. We got to use our rules on the formations, and if he's in certain positions, backfield or whatever, we got to be correct on our alignments so that we can handle whatever they do.
Jason, with Winston, even that one game, they were using him on offense in those jumbo packages. Like, how has he just embraced unconventional opportunities like that?
I think it's great. I think the positionless football is amazing. Like, if you see one of the young men on the roster and they have a skill set to do something, like offense, defense, special teams, it's all the same. It's football. With the linebackers, like we talk about 3 words. Linebackers play special teams. It's what we do. Like, it's defense. Let's go. And then sometimes it's offense. We get to block. So the more Winston can do, the better. We're happy. I'm excited for him.
When you're talking about Hill, is there anybody in the league that even comes close to kind of that skill set and the versatility that he provides?
I don't know. Again, I'm going into my neighborhood. I think now we don't really compare. We got to be ready for the opponent to go 1-0 each week. We just know the things he can do, and there's so multiple that there's other things he can do if he's in the other positions, and then we got to use our rules to deal with that. So, I mean, I know that's a narrow answer, but that is our answer because that's how we have to deal with it. It's how we got to go play in and play out, and be able to attack this weekend.
Check from San Francisco, I've heard, is the fullback for San Francisco, I've heard, is a comp. Would that be, I mean, you played them a year ago, would that be a fair comp for Taysom Hill?
I think the offensive systems that have grown throughout the league have guys like that team or this team that all can kind of do the same thing. So they're in the schemes, the offensive coordinators can use them to do that. So, I mean, comps, I'm not big comparison, but similar schemes, yeah, we're going to study so we know what may be done within, in a game, and make sure our rules can handle that. So that system is moving more into the league. More people are seeing it. The people from the system are going to different teams. So now oh yeah, they may use him like this, or we may get this kind of motion, or he may motion over here on the screen, whatever it is. So we're constantly studying that more than because you don't know who's going to be active every week, if that makes sense. Cool.
Just through his battle to get back on the field, and it's clear that his dedication to get back on the field is really strong. What do you think his influence on the younger guys like Mahmoud and Winston has been this season?
Well, I think Jordan's the same every day, and that's the ultimate compliment. When you've seen as many things in life and in football as Jordan has, you can't help but be drawn to him because all he cares about is making plays, being great himself, making plays, and helping his teammate make plays, and being a great dad. You can't be more proud of that, and you want to be around that. So just his presence, just being around him, you feel that. And that's really unique, and it's really awesome. And I hadn't coached him before, right? But a lot of people that I know had coached him, and just they all texted or called right away, oh, you're going to love Jordan, he's the best. And they were right. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you address sort of the emergence of Ced over the last couple of weeks and how he's done?
Been really impressed with Cedric and his performance on the field, and it's not by accident. I mean, this is something that has been in the works for a while just because of his work ethic and how he's improved. The things off the field. In the meeting room, he's just been outstanding. He's really followed in some of the leaders that we have on our team of just how to go about his business on a daily basis. And, on the field, he's had opportunity, and I think he's made the most of his opportunity, but he's prepared for the opportunity. And that's what I'm proud of most with Cedric, is that it's the work ethic and the things that are not seen on game day that's really allowed him to have the opportunity to be so successful on the field right now for us.
Yeah, the last two, go ahead.
You go ahead.
The last two games, Jerry's a guy that's also seemed like he's gotten more targets, and I think even after the Bengals game, Kevin said that he pretty much said that Jerry shouldn't get that few targets. Has that been a point of conversation, emphasis in the offensive position room or the offensive coaching staff to get him more targets, and what have you seen lately from Jerry?
Yeah, each week is so different in our game planning, and we look for specific things and how to win that game. So many things are different from the defensive scheme you play to how you are, with your current roster at those things. But Jerry certainly brings a skill set that we value a lot in our offense. He can do a lot of things for us. He's made the most of his opportunities here in the last couple of weeks of the things we've asked him to do. And I just think, so many times you look at so many different facets of the game plan, and we, are fortunate at the receiver position to have some players that can go out there and really make some plays for us in different roles. And I think Jerry's made the most of those opportunities.
Chad, when we talked to Ced after the Chargers game, he talked about just getting more attention from DBs, particularly on those slants and breakers since he runs so many of them. What's key when you have a younger player who's getting more opportunities now to sort of adjust to that extra attention from a defense?
Yeah, it's a good question because I think that, with catches and with more targets, you bring more attention to yourself, right? So that's something that he'll learn as we go along here. You'll have to make some adjustments, and certainly we look at that as a coaching staff in our game planning of how we can utilize him in his current role and develop more in his role and utilize other players across the formation, because Cedric might be getting a certain amount of attention his way. That sure opens up opportunities for others that we have in our huddle.
We know how much Amari meant to this team. You talked so much about his leadership qualities during training camp and all that. Who has maybe emerged since he got traded as kind of the leaders of this group who are more vocal and kind of leading the charge on certain things?
Yeah, it's a group right now, our current group of receivers. They're a very coachable group, and I think that they all provide leadership in their own way. So we've done this as a collective group. There's not one in particular person that we all look to for leadership, and I think that's good. I think it's good that all of our players share and have some ownership in that leadership right now, and I think that's important for the group. It's almost like shared ownership is great for us right now, and they all take a tremendous amount of pride in that role. And I've always thought of leadership as just go out there and do it and put it into action. And I feel like our group right now has taken the coaching. They've worked extremely hard. They've worked to improve. That's what we're asking them to do, whether it's the first half of the season or the second half is how can we improve? How can we help the team win? And I really believe we have a group that has shared ownership and shared leadership that they're providing for not only our group, but for the offense.
What have you seen from Kadarius? I know he's on the practice squad, and if he gets called up or whatever, do you think he's close to being ready or ready?
Yeah, Kadarius has worked hard, within his role. Obviously, coming into a new system, you need to learn the playbook. Not only learn the playbook, but learn how we run certain routes and how we do certain plays. It could be how we block in the run game. It could be a certain specific route that we teach maybe slightly different than other places he's been. So there's always a work in progress and a transition with players to your organization, and that's been the case with Kadarius, but he's worked hard, on a daily basis, and I've seen improvement in him. So we'll see what the future holds for him, but I can say he's worked hard and tried to put himself in position to go out there and play.
Chad, how much different coverage-wise does the Saints look last week? Obviously, Joe taking over with the defensive calls, plus Lattimore. I know he hadn't played the week before, but Lattimore also. I mean, having been such an integral part of that secondary for so long.
Yeah.
How different were they?
Overall, there's a lot of similarities, and with Joe taking over to what they were from a scheme standpoint. Of course, Joe was here with us, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him as a coach and a person. And it's a team that what they've done best in the secondary is they've taken the ball away. And, that's something that I know will be a great challenge for us. But scheme-wise, I would say it's tough to have a complete overhaul in a system, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams this point in the year. But it's been a defense I've been very impressed with, and most impressed with just their ability in the secondary to find ways to create turnovers and take the ball away.
How about Jamari? How is he doing behind the scenes when we're not out there? And do you think he'll get some chances anytime soon?
Really impressed with Jamari Thrash and how he's worked. I mean, he has had his notebook open from day one, and he's put pen to paper, and he listens to everything that's said. He has worked extremely hard in the meeting room and on the field. I'm looking forward to, his future, just because I think that as Cedric has done, he's worked hard, and when opportunity meets the work ethic that they've put forth, I think good things will happen.
What do it feels like the season's been kind of uneven for Elijah. How do you think he's handled the ups and downs from an attitude perspective?
Elijah Moore's been great. I think he's been pretty consistent. Every day he's the same person, and Elijah Moore's work ethic is exceptional. I mean, you guys have seen him on the practice field work physically, but what you don't see is when we go in those meeting rooms of how hard he works to try to be a great player for us. And I can't say enough about just, I would say, his consistency in his personality and what he brings every day of just trying to say, hey, I want to try to make the team better. Whatever role you guys ask me to play, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try to do it at my best. And I've been very impressed with Elijah Moore.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.